Hey guys, Big Red One here with Gamers Armada to deliver your latest review for Assassin's Creed Revelations. So let's get down to brass tacks. Assassin's Creed Revelations is an expansion off of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, just like Brotherhood was an expansion of Assassin's Creed 2. That's not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, it ends up being one of its best qualities. However, it will detract from the overall experience. I'll explain as I go, so stick with me. I have to say that starting off in Assassin's Creed Revelations was a little jarring to me at first. First, you're Desmond, whose personality and mind has shattered into bits and pieces and is now stuck in the Animus to try to save his mind, and he doesn't even know why he's there. You've got Subject 16 there who's trying to help you but seems to be having his own mental breakdown. And then on top of that, you're back into Ezio's boots at Masyaf Castle trying to unravel Altair's secrets, only to have to head to Constantinople almost immediately and try to figure it out there, with no prior mention or real explanation of what Ezio's trying to get out of Altair, except that it's connected with Juno. You're not exactly sure what's going on, and the way it plays out, it took a little bit for me to get comfortable with exactly where the game was going. Once you get to Constantinople, though, everything starts to pick up. You immediately meet a man named Yusuf, who is actually the master assassin in Constantinople and seems to be the guy running things. He ushers Ezio into the fold and allows Ezio to kind of take control of the city and use his assassins as he needs to. Yusuf also has a couple new tricks to teach Ezio as well, because apparently things in Constantinople have progressed further than they have in Italy. For instance, Yusuf shows Ezio how to use this thing called a hook blade. It's the same blade you've had before, but now it's got a hook on it that allows you to jump higher and grab onto ledges you would normally just have to climb to. It makes it a lot quicker when you're trying to get up to synchronize your views. It also allows you to jump and hang on the hanging plants that would normally just propel you around a corner, but instead, if you do it right, it actually launches you further like a long jump. It actually allows you to get to some better places that you wouldn't normally be able to get to, good for assassinations and just hiding in general. The hook blade has other uses too. For instance, there are now zip lines between rooftops across the city that allow you to cover great distances in a much quicker fashion. You can also pull off some pretty cool assassinations while hanging on these zip lines, which actually makes it a little more fun to go through, but really their main purpose is to get you from point A to point B in a much quicker way. The hook blade also allows you to do some pretty cool grab maneuvers when you grab people and body slam them and break their neck, as well as run at them and then sort of leapfrog over them in a very cool barrel roll fashion. Some basic stuff, but still very fun and good wrinkles to add into the fold. The other big new thing in the game is the use of bombs, which Ezio can use to varying degrees. There are 3 different types of bombs. You got bombs that'll kill, bombs that'll distract, and bombs that'll disorient or disable your enemy. The problem with these is that the game forces you to use them. Security is much tighter in Constantinople than it ever was in Italy, apparently, so it's very difficult to sneak in and kill your target if you want to completely do it in a stealthy fashion. However, if you use these bombs, you can disable your guards, you can kill them, and then walk right in. But still, the game kind of forces you down that path. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but the bombs did have their uses. The other big new addition to the single-player experience is the use of assassin dens that can actually be attacked by Templars if you do too much in the city and draw their ire. The assassin dens are fun because you can actually defend them by placing people in strategic ways, using barricades on the streets, and letting your assassins rain terror on the Templars that are pouring through the street trying to get to your den. And while I say it is fun, it can actually detract from the experience that Assassin's Creed is attempting to provide. It's not about stealth. It's all about just killing your enemy in a strategic, intelligent fashion. I'm all about stealth in this game, and this did pull me out of the experience, but it was no less fun when I actually got to succeed in it. In the end, the only thing working against Revelations is that it's stuck in the shadow of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. They share a lot of the same gameplay mechanics, although there are a lot of new twists, but overall it feels like the same game. The best thing about it is the new story, which is fantastic. Ezio's connection to Sophia, his new love interest, his connection to Altair and Altair's secrets, as well as his story, how it draws to a close. A+ for me. Absolutely one of the best stories I've ever gotten into in a video game. The other thing to talk about is the multiplayer in the game, which unfortunately to me fell short. Yes, there are a couple new modes, but overall I don't really feel like anything changed. You're still trying to silently stalk people as well as being stalked at the same time. and it didn't really do it for me on a brand new level. I just wasn't involved in the multiplayer as much as I would have liked to have been because I just could not get my mind into it. I only wanted to get back into the single player and get through the story and learn about what happened to Ezio and Altair and figure out where the game could go in the future. Overall, you need to get this game, if only for the story.